Everyone doing you're alright, it's Cody there, I'm back again. Being asked to do this video, I put a tweet out last night and asked people what video do you think I should do, on what thoughts and opinions you want to hear on next and stuff, because I'm wrecking my mind, to be honest. There's so many things in there, but I just wanted a bit of direction. So someone shouted out and said, yeah, do one on gang life and stuff. So this is a YouTube subscriber and also one of my Twitter followers. So I'm happy to oblige, right? So obviously having been involved in gangs, how I started and stuff and everything else. So I started off as a young kid. I was a tearaway, came from a bit of a broken home and all that sort of crap. Got into trouble, started off on the streets like fucking low level stuff. We was like shoplifting and fighting other kids on the street and like rivals and stuff, but I didn't actually mainly get involved in a gang until I was actually in my 20s, as mad as that might sound. Now, I've been in the army, I left the army and I was actually doing the doors. I was working as a bouncer here in Manchester in a place called Ashton-under-Lyne, and it was only then when I actually got into really like, at the time I was in shape, I'd been training and stuff, and I was an handy lad, so but I never took my job too serious, right? But I'd just become head doorman at this venue called Legends in Ashton-under-Lyne in Tameside. Not a little area, naughty, full of naughty little people doing a bit of this and a bit of that, you know what I mean? So I started on a venue, right? I've never been a bully with with the doors and stuff. I always befriend people. It's easier, makes my job easier, and plus I ain't a thug, you know what I mean? So anyway, I started my shift. I walked around the venue, seeing these kids in the corner, like a group of them, right? Some black, some Asian, some white. I was like, oh, here we go. There's all in trackies. And I said, listen, they are boys. I said, I got told by locals that it was a West End boys, right? With West End being a place in Ashton. It wasn't. There was a lot more infamous and notorious than that. I didn't know this until I ended up running with them. So anyway, so what's happened, is I've gone over and I said, listen, lads, you're gonna have to leave. Did it politely, do you know what I mean? I didn't know who he was, and even if I did know who he was, I still speak to him the same, because whether it's a muppet or it's not a muppet, I speak to people the same, yeah, mate. So I've gone over, I said, listen, lads, you're gonna have to go and get changed, stick on some shoes, some jeans or whatever, come back smart, and you can stay in. Anyway, we had a bit of a like standoff, so to speak. I said, listen, boys, you can do it. I said, look, I'm a chill kid. I think they've seen that anyway. They saw I were a dickhead. So, and I didn't speak to them like they was dickheads. So anyway, they left and they came back and they were all smart and that. So obviously let them in. They're spending a lot of money at the bar and all that. So I was like, sweet. So anyway, as weeks went on and stuff, we sort of still had a bit of a friction between me and the door team and the lads, these gang lads. Anyway, one time one of them took me to one side. I said, "You're all right, you good kid." He said, "So like, look, we want to sell drugs in the club. Well, we're doing it anyway, right?" So they told me straight. They said, "But we want to sell them exclusively here. You'll get a backhander. If you search people for drugs on a door, take them off them. We'll buy them off you. We'll flood the club with drugs. You make someone there. We make someone there. Everybody's a winner." And I thought, I'm on £10 an hour. What I earn a bit of doge here, mate. I thought, fucking right, man. £10 an hour for standing on a door taking abuse all fucking night. It's not the best. So I thought, yeah, sweet. So we put it into force. We started searching people and stuff. The club was rife with drugs. It was really, they played Wigan Pier music. For those that don't know, Wigan Pier is like very popular up here in the northwest back in the day. People were all sniffed up, fucking like pilled up and all that. So people on ecstasy and cocaine, right? So it was big business, this venue, and everyone was off the fucking tits on something or other, and it was a rough venue anyway in general. So we started searching people, we take the drugs off them, then the lads, they'd give me, the gang lads would buy drugs from there, and then they'd sell it back in the club. So I'd sell it to them at a fraction of the price. For like a gram of coke was 40 quid at the time, so I give them a gram for 20 quid, so they double the profit, I get 20 quid. On top of that, they was giving me a backhander as well, and then I told them straight, if the police ever come, I'll give you guys the heads up, and you guys can fuck off out the back door. If you ever got any problems or anything, give me a shout, and I'll fuck them off, like lads in the club and stuff. So anyway, as weeks went on and stuff, and blah blah blah, I got invited out for drinks with them and food and everything down in Dresden. So I ended up being down there with him. We went for some food and stuff, and then yeah, then I was running drugs for these lads on the door and started going out for food with them and drinks with them and stuff. And yeah, they used to carry shooters and stuff all the time, like revolvers, pistols, 9mm, and all that sort of stuff. So there was. I never knew who he was until they actually came out and said the name. I won't say the name on here because there's no need for it to not be known. People have on other videos, people have guessed who I was associated with. Yeah, and like I say, within the like, it was like a family. You know what I mean? Like people be selling drugs and like we stuck together. And then I remember one night when I was at the club, it went off with a rival gang thing, right? And one of the lads that was with us, there was only two of them, right, at the time, right? There was me on the door and two of these gang lads, and there was these other lads, and there was two of them, right? And what's happened? No, I think there was three of them. There was three of this rival gang, right? And one of the lads on our, one of the gang lads on our side, he had a shooter, he had a revolver in his fucking strap bag, and he went for it, right? And I was like, no. And I said, bro, don't need it. So we had it with these lads. We kicked fuck out of him. I sparked one out. I grabbed the other one in a chokehold. He was unconscious. And then the gang lad on our side, he grabbed the duster and he smashed him in the face. He was gone anyway. And he was out. And then we cut fuck out. We all turned all three on the other one. And then after that, the lads were like, oh, look, you had that back, blah, blah, blah. So I went up in their estimation again. So the thing is with gangs and stuff, it's like an army, right? You have your top bosses, then you have your lieutenants, and then you've got your street foot soldiers who are dealing. And your foot soldiers these days, I'll be honest with you, the 12, 13, 14-year-olds that are going to school selling bags of weed and stuff, they've got little strap bags over the shoulder, they're selling a weed, they're selling a sniff and all this sort of stuff, and it fucking goes on. I know it's mad for people that might not know what goes on the streets to hear that, but it's a fact. And yeah, like I say, like gang members, they have their own distinguished uniform. It's like being in the army. Like I say, you've got structure, you've got a job, you've got a role, whether it be drug dealing, enforcer, debt collector, shooter, trigger finger, whatever, right? And it goes on as well. I never really spoke like that gang sort of speak, you know what I mean, or the man them and all that. I never really spoke like that, never. But yeah, I was involved in it. Because I was a big lad and stuff, I ended up doing a bit of stuff for another group of people that were selling heroin and crack cocaine. I was doing a bit of debt collecting for them, knocking doors and stuff like that, and wording people up and stuff. So I was making money on both sides, and I was doing the doors. I was selling drugs on the doors. The gang was giving me a wage as well. Then I was doing this other freelance stuff, debt collecting and stuff like that. So yeah, it was. I was prospering. I was doing well, making money. These lads in Rochdale that were selling all the drugs and stuff. I was riding around in like I was driving Subaru Imprezas, Porsche Cayennes, BMs, BMW M3s, Mercs, fucking Evos, Mitsubishi Evolutions. I was driving everything, do you know what I mean? Making big money, riding around and stuff. And because of my loyalty, because I pride myself on my loyalty. Loyalty goes a long way in that world. And then obviously from gangs, I ended up going on to be involved with gangsters and stuff like that. So yeah, I pride myself on my loyalty. My loyalty wasn't for sale at any price. The gang lads ended up going to prison for 235 years, between 11 of them. This was like 2007, 2008. When they went to prison, gun crime fell in Manchester by 92%. So yeah, there was a lot to be said. That, do you know what? I'll be honest with you, good lad. You know, the reason that they ended up in jail, by the way, right? I need to explain this, right? I won't mention any names, but like, one of the lads that was busted, right? What happened, right? I'll tell you straight, right? But without mentioning names, right? What happened was, right, in 2007, or 2008, 2007, around that time, one person was shot dead. Right, in Longsight, and then at his funeral, right, I nearly said the name of the street then, there was 3 cars drove up into this cul-de-sac, so it was a dead end. They jumped out, my lads, the lads I was involved with, and started firing into the crowd of this wake, of this lad that had been shot dead by these lads. and it slain a black kid who died. He took a bullet. I can't remember where it hit him, but he died at the scene, or he died a few hours later in hospital. One of the lads that was there that night in the car, the forensics that were in the car linked to him. He then turned QE. For those that don't know, QE is Queen's Evidence. So what he did, he was arrested, he was spoken to by the police, and then he didn't want to go to prison for life. So he actually served up the other boys within the gang, and the other lads within the gang, they ran trial, and he was sentenced to 235 years between 11 of them. And like I say, when that happened, gun crime fell in Manchester by 92%. Now, I don't agree with Grassin. I went to prison on a witness intimidation, which was a stitch up, and I kept my mouth shut. I didn't do anything wrong, but again, the police wanted me to name other people and this, that and the other, and I'm not in that game. Loyalty means more to me than anything, and I kept my mouth shut, and I went to jail, and then spent a couple of months in jail, and then I got out, and that was the end of that. But like I say, my loyalty is not up for sale. In the criminal world, like in the gang world and stuff, like I say, I've gone from gangs to gangsters, right? So there's a big, how gangs conduct themselves to how gangsters conduct themselves is completely different. The gangsters are more gentleman-like, suited, booted, respected and everything else. The gangs are more, they was ruthless, like the gangs and stuff like that. They really was, like, the punishments were dished out and stuff like that, and you don't speak out of turn, and it was very regimented. It was a good time. I learned a lot. I saw a lot. And like I say, gangs are everywhere here in Manchester, and just throughout the United Kingdom. There's gangs in areas of the Britain that people wouldn't expect there to be gangs. As you can hear, I live in an high crime area from all the bloody house bloody sirens and car sirens and everything that are bloody going off. But yeah, like I say, the gang world and stuff. Do I understand why people are attracted to it? Absolutely, yeah. I grew up with fuck all. Yeah, mate, nothing. I had nothing, right? And then people come along and say, yeah, like, invite you to do a bit of this and a bit of that. And you see these other gang members and stuff on the estates with a dough and they're driving the big cars and the big watches and the big gold curb chains and all that sort of stuff. And you'd be like, rah, mum and dad are struggling to put food on the table, yeah, mate. But fucking my guy there running around in a fucking Rolex with a fucking bear with big fake tits, with a Rolex on his wrist and fucking go with bling everywhere. You're thinking, yeah, what a bit of that, yeah, mate. So like I said, as you grow up and stuff and these opportunities arise, I understand. I mean, you've got postcode gangs, you've got street gangs, and then you've just got gangs in general. Like I say, it could be turf war, it could be drugs. You're running drugs in a certain area, another gang try to encroach onto your territory, you go at it. There's videos on my timeline of when I spoke about gang wars, and which was a documentary that aired on Channel 5. So like I say, I've been involved in that world, I've been around it, I know what goes on. Nothing surprises me, nothing shocks me. Death is obviously an occupational hazard. I've been shot at myself, I've got stab wounds all over my hands. So yeah, it goes on. It's a very dog-eat-dog world out there, and money talks. And like I say, gang members are getting younger and younger and stuff, and some gang members will shoot you just for a reputation, do you know what I mean? And it goes on. I mean, you have gang initiations and all this sort of stuff. So it's rife, it goes everywhere. And with less and less police on the streets and more organised fucking gangs and criminals and stuff, there's no visual deterrent. Like I said, the shootings here in Manchester, we had the old Gunchester label handed to us by the media. We're in danger of regaining that because there's been tit-for-tat shootings for years. There was a very well-respected and notorious gangster that was shot dead here in Manchester last year. And like I say, it's led on for tit-for-tat shootings and stuff and everything else. But we live in a dangerous city. It's a lawless city with little or no respect for the police. With dwindling police numbers, soaring crime rates and stuff, people are increasingly on these estates are turning to gangsters, gangs, gang members, hard men on the estates, and asking them to sort out problems from low level antisocial behaviour to thefts, and everything in between, because the simple fact is police are not available, they're not around, they don't turn up, and they've got no respect here in Manchester. So like I say, you know that shit's going down when people on the estates are turning to gang members, gang elders, gangsters, hardened criminals on the estates to sort out problems, because the police are not turning up on house burglaries and stuff for 24, 46, 48 hours. These lads are getting results and stuff like that, so it definitely goes on. Like I say, drugs and firearms go hand in hand, so that's another, like, a big problem and stuff. But like I say, I live for the criminals, man. I'm on the criminals side. I've got no respect for the police. I don't respect the police in any way, shape or form. The fact I went to prison on a witness intimidation charge, which was bullshit, with no evidence, and the police hid evidence that showed that I was innocent, I've got no respect for them. But like I say, gangs will prosper. Less police, what do you expect? Do you know what I mean? Gang members are getting younger and younger. They start off small time, and then they work their way up through the ranks, and then you can get to the top of the tree. And you get to the top of the tree, you're making big money. I'll leave it at that, guys. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Take care. Bye.